I think there's 5 or 6 there who any from those 5 or 6 can be in those top 2 places. I think them games are going to be really competitive. There's a couple there who probably looking, in transitional seasons, but that can bring its own challenges and not knowing what you're going to get. The London side we played round 1 had a couple of London Broncos players and was a strong side, and it was a tough game. It took us 60 minutes to sort of turn the screw against them, and they performed well at Midlands, scored 28 points there, and in other games, and obviously they'll be disappointed with their result on the weekend. So I think those sides will be a little bit up and down depending on what personnel they have available each weekend.
Well, Alan, a big thank you for joining us. Before we get to the big Cornwall match this weekend, let's talk about the trip down to the Midlands at the weekend. A good 2 points at the end of it. Bit nervy though. They came for you at the end, didn't they? So how was the match at the Midlands Hurricanes?
I think all our games are nervy. That's why I'm glad I've got no hair. We do seem to go into the last 2 minutes with not knowing if we're going to win or lose sometimes. But no, we was very pleased with the win. A very good side, well coached side, some quality players. Obviously good on the home ground as well, and expect them to be in and around the playoffs this season. I do. So to come away with the 2 points, especially how the game panned out as well. With 2 sin bins, which got no arguments over. They were sin bins. To defend with 11 men for a period before half time was very pleasing, and second half all we seemed to do really was defend, and that was with our own making. We made a lot of errors in yardage, so very pleased with the defensive aspects. When we did keep hold of the ball, we looked good. We scored some really good tries. There was just a bit of a momentum swinger in the game, a charge down when we was in control really, and we've just got to learn to manage the games better, I suppose, as a group. And they are a young group, and they're going to get better for these types of games really.
And it is getting back to winning ways as well, which I'm imagining is really, really important. I mean, what's your thoughts on the start to the season? Because you've had some good performances, you've had some tricky games as well. I mean, Keighley's no easy match, is it really? So, I mean, what's your thoughts on the start to the season more generally for Hunslet?
Yeah, look, I think we should have beat Oldham and we should have beaten Keighley. I know there was a major talking point with Keighley's last try, but even taking that out of it, we probably still should have saw the game out. I think there's only really the Rochdale performance that I've been unhappy with. I think Oldham game, we faced a bit of adversity in that game. We lost a half-back, a back rower, and to come back from 22-4 with 25 minutes remaining, and again outscoring them 5 tries to 4. Rochdale's disappointed with just some of our intent. Yeah, we could look at, we did have some key personnel missing, but we didn't perform on the day, and we did really well against Keighley. So I think it's more, you want to win every game, but it's probably more performance based this side of the year. And I do feel with such a turnover of players, coaches, players, we've got to find our best team. So I did feel it'll take to around round 10 for us to get in the groove, and I expect us to improve now week in, week out off the back of that win on Sunday. Coming into this weekend's clash against Cornwall as well, and then we play Swinton. So a couple of home games coming up now where I really expect our performance levels to be as good as they've been all year.
And with regards to the squad and how that's shaping up, obviously you'll have to deal with injuries and that kind of thing, I'm imagining. But 2 loan signings coming from Hull KR, I read on the Twitter this week. I mean, how's the squad shaping up ahead of this busy period you've got coming up against Cornwall and Swinton?
Yeah, not bad really. Obviously, we brought the loans in, and then there's players returning from injury, so it's a welcome selection headache. I think we're a lot stronger position than we were, pre-Rochdale and pre-Keighley. Connor and Dan played against Keighley, and we knew we'd probably get them a bit longer term, but they did have a reserve game scheduled for this week for the parent club, and that's why they weren't available for the Midlands game. So we get them for 3 weeks now, and the Leeds lads, the local lads, so it's good for them, it's good for us to be able to give them opportunity to play first grade. It's good for Hull KR and it's good for the lads as well. And we've brought in a couple of other players that we hope to keep hold of long-term loans. Ollie Burton from Batley, Jacob Doyle from Fev, and Cole Oakley from Halifax. And just probably when we put the squad together, those were sort of players that we identified, throughout the year that we might be able to get hold of, and they will bring something different than what we already had in the squad. And our captain, Dwayne Strafton, is due back this weekend as well. So, yeah, we're looking healthy at the minute. But as you know, we believe that can all change, with one training session or one game. So we just got to make sure everyone's training to a good intensity and performing at a good intensity.
Well, fingers crossed that good squad selection continues for you, Alan, as well. But just to talk about Cornwall, because you've played a mixed bag of teams this season. You played the London Scholars, you played the Midlands Hurricanes now, Rochdale, Keighley, Oldham. So what do you make of the competition more generally this year? Because there's some, the big hitters are clearly performing this year. A couple of teams, probably like yourself and Oldham and Swinton, who might want to just get a bit further up the table. You played the Midlands Hurricanes. What's your thoughts on the competition more generally this year?
I think there's 5 or 6 there who any from those 5 or 6 can be in those top 2 places. I think them games are going to be really competitive. There's a couple there probably looking, in transitional seasons, but that can bring its own challenges and not knowing what you're going to get. The London side we played round 1 had a couple of London Broncos players and was, a strong side, and it was a tough game. It took us 60 minutes to sort of turn the screw against them, and they performed well at Midlands, scored 28 points there. And, in other games, and obviously they'll be disappointed with their result on the weekend. So I think those sides will be a little bit up and down depending on what personnel they have available each weekend. And you could probably throw Cornwall in that mix as well. So yeah, I think there's games that you are going to be expected to win, but some of those games, every game's going to be tough and a challenge for different reasons.
And what's your thoughts on Cornwall this weekend? This match live on our league, we should say. There was a bit of heading into the Rochdale game for them. They'd scored a lot of tries, so that was a weird one at the weekend, I'm going to suggest. So what's your thoughts on the challenge this weekend, Ed, of Cornwall, who before last weekend were scoring plenty in their matches?
Yeah, possibly the weather was impacted on them. I don't know if they played in the rain yet. Obviously, Rochdale a bit more experience and kicked better than them and made them come off their own try line. And they've got players who can hurt you on the day. Like I say, there was a bit of optimism around Cornwall and their performances before that game. I see they'll be quite disappointed, I suspect, with how they performed. But again, they brought in lads from Leeds and things like that. It's only their first week playing with them, so we won't take them lightly at all. They've got a really good coach, really experienced coach, knows what he's doing, and it's a long-term development for them. But saying that, we've got to focus on ourselves, and we don't want to be the first team that they beat. We don't want that hanging on us, so we've got to make sure we turn up at home ready to play, and we won't be taking them lightly at all.
And speaking of being at home, like you touched upon, there's this game, Swinton next week as well. So get yourself down to the South Leeds Stadium if you can't make the game in person. Obviously, like we said, it is live in our league, but nothing beats the atmosphere of the South Leeds Stadium on a Sunday afternoon, Alan.
No, it's good, and it's something we pride ourselves on, our home record. Unfortunately, we've had that draw, and we've had that agonising loss at home. So we want to pick that home form back up, and it is a strength for us. We do turn up and we do play really well at home, and it's probably a bit smaller pitch than teams are used to as well. And we're very fortunate we get to train on it, so it is a strength of ours, and our supporters do get behind us. So hopefully, we'll get there in the numbers on Sunday and support the boys, and it'll be a good spectacle for the TV as well.